What is the definition of insanity? Well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. Hi, Jade here from That Vegan Woman. If you're new to my channel, just know that my channel is about veganism, it's about traveling, it's about health, it's about living to be the best version of you. If you're interested in any of those things, just subscribe to my channel and press the little bell so that you'll get alerts. Today, I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that have been going on in my own personal life. My last video that I put out a video stating that I'm no longer raw, and I received numerous messages, notifications in regard to this. The majority of people were really supportive, and I thank each and every person who personally reached out and sent their love and best wishes to me. It really meant a lot to me. It was really tough to put myself out there and say, hey, it's not working for me, I don't want to do this anymore. But I've been inundated with so many questions that I thought that I'd answer as many as possible, so it helps other people that have messaged me and said, hey, I'm struggling too. So one of the first questions I got was, how come it wasn't working for you? And I'm just going to say some of the things that was making it so it wasn't working for me. Now, I personally don't believe all the time that I was eating enough since I came over to Asia. And that was simply because I just didn't have the tools. Sometimes I was in a little one-bedroom place and I would either eat far too much or I wouldn't eat enough. Some days I'd be on the road traveling for 3 to 4 days and I'd run out of fruit. And because I've always put such high expectations of myself to be absolutely perfect, I would go without food, which would then trigger my anxiety, it triggered my depression, it triggered a lot of things, and I wasn't feeling good at all. One of the greatest things that I've always told people who want to change their eating habits is make sure you're happy within yourself with what you're doing. Because if you're not happy within what you're doing, you're going to feel horrible and you're probably going to find yourself falling off whatever it is that you're going to do. And like most people, you end up beating yourself up. And there's nothing great about beating yourself up at all. So that in itself was probably affecting me. Another thing that was affecting me was perhaps I wasn't getting everything I needed. And I watched a Dr. Grieger video, and I'm going to put some of that in right now.
Raw food diets, what do the studies and the science really say about that? You know, I've met so many people that have reversed, cancers and all sorts of disease on raw fruits and vegetables. So I was wondering if I could have your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the benefits that raw diets have over just quote-unquote vegan diets is it cuts out all the crap, right? And so, I mean, it used to be that vegans had really healthy diets. They had to, by definition. All that was available was healthy food. I mean, it's the same thing with celiac sufferers. The people that, were forced to eat gluten-free 20 years ago, all of a sudden, they couldn't eat donuts, right? All of a sudden, so they were actually eating pretty healthy diets because they weren't eating all this processed crap. But now, celiac sufferers can eat just as unhealthy as everybody else, and the same thing with vegans. Now, vegans have vegan ice cream and vegan donuts and vegan everything else. Vegan marshmallows, right? So you could live off vegan marshmallows and, have terrible health. But the raw people have the advantage, right? If you go raw, then all of a sudden, vegan marshmallows are off your plate.
Right.
That's the primary advantage, is the fact that you're getting rid of a lot of that processed garbage. And so I don't see an advantage of a raw food diet over a whole food plant-based diet. And in fact, the long-term studies on raw foodists are quite disappointing. I have a couple videos on the site And so in the short term, they do remarkable. They do great.
Right.
Because you're going through an extremely healthy diet. But long term, we're seeing some nutrient deficiencies and not great stuff.
So for me, after I watched his video, I thought, well, perhaps that's it, because I did feel really great at first. I felt wonderful. And then all of a sudden, I started blowing up, and I could see that I was swelling in my face. I was swelling around my belly. I was starting to feel really sluggish all the time. And I'm thinking, why am I feeling like this? I'm only eating fruit and greens. I wasn't eating an abundance of greens, and I openly admit that. But I was thinking, why am I feeling like this? I was waking up in the morning, and I felt like, oh, you know when you've eaten a lot of sugar, like junk food, and you wake up and you've got that on your tongue? I was waking up and that was all on my tongue. And I was thinking, this just isn't good. This isn't healthy for me. I'm not feeling how I should. I want to feel alive. And, you know, I kept hearing different things, what you should do. I eat all the time. Other people saying I fast. Other people saying this. Different people saying all different things. And believe me, I tried so many different things. Did I want to make this work for me? Of course I did. I publicly put myself out there and said, I'm doing this. It works. It's great. You know, it's awesome. Of course you want it to work. I tried everything within my power to make it work. But it just was no longer working for me. And to keep doing something that's not serving its purpose to me, when I'm on my own journey to find my own freedom, didn't make any sense. And I'm so glad I came out and finally said, hey, it's not working for me. I'm not doing it anymore. I just can't continue with this facade. I've got to be true to me. I've got to be true to people that are following me and be honest with you. And I'm glad I did, because I've just received so many messages from people telling me that they mourn because they can't do it. They felt bad within themselves because they'd struggle all the time. They'd think there was something wrong with them because they were hungry all the time, and they're hearing other people saying, I can do it, it's easy. And that's because people put that information out there. And I genuinely believe everybody who puts that information out there believes it at that point in time. So it's not that it's wrong for anyone to put that information out there. It's just that not enough people are putting out the information when it's not working for them, because they're so fearful of what the raw community is going to think of them. And to be honest with you, I was too, but I'm glad I came out and said, hey, it's not, because I feel I'll be able to help more people reach higher levels of health, because they can't reach that highest level that most of us have always believed is the healthiest way to eat. But for me, I believe having balance feels a lot better. I feel amazing. People have asked me, how is my digestion? My digestion's fine. In fact, it's been better. I was getting bloated a lot on raw, on certain fruits that I'd eat. I have completely cut my fruit right back, and I know a lot of people are going to go, oh. I eat 2 cups of fruit a day, and that's all I'm eating now, and it's made a huge difference. Like, I can see it. I can see my face is leaning out. I can feel the fat is leaving my belly. I can feel I'm healthier within myself, and that's not because I think fruit is a bad thing, because fruit is packed with antioxidants. Fruit's wonderful, and it's a great healing tool. But for me, it just didn't work anymore. So I have actually nearly pulled it out of my diet at this point in time. And I'm feeling wonderful. I have oats, which oats are great for digestion. They clean your colon out because they're packed full of fibre, and they keep me full. They keep me satiated. I don't want to eat every hour or every 2 hours. I don't want to do that. I'm sightseeing, I work at home. I can't be just eating all the time. I hate that. I hate being trapped to food. And I love food, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to eat every minute of the day. So for me, it's working wonderful. I wake up in the morning and I have 1 litre to 1.5 litres of water, depending how thirsty I am. I rehydrate my body. I then have half a kilo, which is about 1 pound of greens, and I just steam them, and I have some pepper and lemon juice on top, or sometimes sriracha, because I love it. And so I have that on top, so I get that into me. And then about 2 hours later, I have a cup of oats, and I have 2 cups of fruit on top and cinnamon, and I have that. And then at dinner I have like a huge feed of potatoes and vegetables, or brown rice and vegetables, and that's what I've been eating, and it's working for me. I feel really great. My digestion's been perfect. I'm going to the toilet 2 to 3 times a day. My stomach is remaining flat all day. I'm making sure I drink plenty of water during the day, because obviously I've gone from having an extremely high water diet to not as high water because food's cooked. So I'm drinking a lot of water in between, but my stomach is remaining flat during the day, and I'm going to the toilet, so I don't have any issues there. I was also asked an interesting question by a girl. She said to me, why is it when a lot of fruitarians get into Southeast Asia, where there is an abundance of fruit, and yes there is, and it's very cheap, and yes it is, they end up reverting to cooked food? And I truly couldn't answer that question at the time, but I received a message from a friend of mine who is a fruitarian. He's been a fruitarian for a couple of years, and he's been in Asia, and he said to me, Jade, I think it's how heavily polluted it is in Asia. I think as well you are confronted with a lot more than you see in the West. You see a lot of cruelty, you see a lot of poverty, especially where I am. I've been in third world countries for the last 2 months, and it takes its toll on you. And because when you're raw, you are so in tune with your emotions, and you feel things so deeply, it just takes a lot out of you. And he was saying that you can't feel satisfied no matter what you eat, and sometimes you might need that cooked food just to settle the emotions, just to protect yourself as well from all the harsh pollutions in the Asian climate. He said to me, perhaps intuitively you weren't feeling how you should feel, and you were moving into that way. I don't know, but they were some of the thoughts he put out there. For me, I know that I've had a lot of trouble coping whilst in Cambodia and Laos. I faced a lot of poverty because we've stayed in, especially in Cambodia, we've stayed in the traditional Cambodian areas, and I've seen a lot of poverty, and I've seen a lot of cruelty to animals, and it has affected me heavily. But I'm not using that as an excuse. You know, people are probably watching this rolling their eyes saying, yeah, she's just making an excuse. I'm not making any excuses. I've chosen to eat cooked food because I want to. I'm not making any justifications. I'm just trying to answer some of the questions that I got from people. But the main question that people asked was, why? Why, you know, did you feel unhealthy on it? Because there is such a thing in the raw movement that raw is law, and raw is the way it has to be. And I believe that too. When I moved into the raw movement, I was like this. It was just complete, this is the only way. And I had been trying to be a raw vegan for 2 years prior, so that's a lot of trying to get there. And you can imagine, I felt that it was the best way to eat. And when I'm starting to slump and not feel as good anymore, I was thinking, oh God, what the hell can I do? So I try all fruit, cut the fat out, because all the people have, you know, anti-fat, they're saying, don't have nuts, don't have avocado, don't have coconut milk. I cut that out, and then I felt like it was like, oh my God, and my brain felt very foggy. It felt so foggy, and I'm thinking, this isn't normal. I was feeling really unbalanced, and I was thinking, oh my God, okay, we'll try this. Then I was like, oh man, how many greens can I eat? Because I used to have them in green smoothies, I used to have green juices, I used to have a lot of these other things to get my greens in. I was sitting there eating like a rabbit, and I hated it. I truly hated it. I was sitting there saying, oh, and I'm saying, oh my God, you know, I can't keep doing this. And it was only because of the group I kept myself going. And it's funny, I received a comment saying, oh, you've become this way because, you cook food, you want to make money, you want to get more views. The funny thing is, I've just finished an ebook on eating raw. And if I wanted to continue to put the facade up, I had a massive base where I could have sold it. I had 200 to 300 people coming into my group a day whom I could have sold my book to, but I chose not to. I will eventually release it. I'm going to be putting a cookbook together, so I'll release the two together. But I could have released it, and I didn't feel true to myself putting it out and taking money from people, knowing that I was going to be shutting the door on this lifestyle. So that answers that question. I could be making money, and at this point I'm making zero. So it's never been about that for me. It's never, ever, ever. Anyone who knows me knows I don't really care about money. And it's not because I have an abundant amount of money, because I assure you I don't. It's just I live to what I've got. Within what I've got, I live a very simple life. I don't want for much, so I don't need much. So that has never been the issue. They're just some of the things that I wanted to sort of really address. But the one thing that I really truly want to address is that raw, if you are eating raw, it shouldn't define you as a person. It should never define you as a person. If you're vegan and you're living a compassionate, caring life and you're standing up each and every day being a voice for those animals, that's enough. It's hard enough to be vegan. I know so many people that are isolated, completely isolated. They have no friends, they have no family, they've got nothing left, and they've held on to little communities that they've made. And if they can't live up to those high levels, they feel like, wow, I'm going to be isolated from there. The vegan community needs to be supporting everybody at every level and wherever they're at, because it doesn't matter. Don't ever let food define you. It doesn't define me. It'll never define me as a person. I'm much more than what I put in my mouth, and so are you. To receive messages of so many people that said to me, I felt really bad in your group because I couldn't speak up and say, oh, this happened or that happened. And that has never, ever been my aim. I've been a health coach for many years, and I've worked with people of all levels of health. And I never want to make anyone feel bad about what level they're at, because I know I started somewhere. Gosh, 10 years ago on Saturday, I made a decision to stop drinking, and believe me, where I was there, rock bottom in hell, is not where I am now, travelling the world, living a wonderful life. So there's been a lot going on in that 10 years, and I realise that for everybody. And I never want anybody to feel bad, and that's why with my group that I had prior to Raw Vegan Fruitarians for Life, like I set it up whilst I was there, it is a group for all levels. There is no judgment. There are no, you can't talk about that, you can't talk about that. I want everyone to feel welcome. I want people to feel comfortable in their skin to say, hey, I'm feeling like this. What can I do? And people can support and help you, because that's what the vegan community needs. It's a vegan community, not these segregated communities. I just want people to be the healthiest version of themselves. When we're healthy, we feel good inside. It makes it a lot easier for us to stand up and be a voice for the animals. Everything that you do should be about, how can I give myself more energy, more mental clarity, so that I can be a voice for the animals. So that's why I've really opened up what I'm going to put in this group, after listening to so many women and some men say, I'm so happy you came out, Jade, because it's made me feel better about myself. And I'm happy that I've given people the opportunity to breathe. Don't make yourself claustrophobic over a diet. I've lived in so many dietary worlds and put myself under so much pressure and so many restrictions over the years. I just refuse to do it. For me to be able to say, nah, I'm done with raw, I'm just eating how I want to eat, has been like all these bricks have just come off my shoulders and I feel free within me. And that freedom in food is the best thing that we can do, because there's so much going on social media. Eat this way, don't eat that way, and you're like, oh my God, what can I do? I'm just listening to my body. I'm a healthy person anyway. It's not like I'm all of a sudden going to start gouging down on Coca-Cola and chips, because I'm not into that kind of food. But I'm not going to sacrifice eating potatoes or a little bit of rice or whatever just because it doesn't fit into the raw makeup. So, and neither should you. You should do what you feel is best for you and your body. No one's living your life. No one has knows your finances. No one knows what's going on in your head, your heart, your mind, your body, your soul. Only you do. The only person who knows what's going on in their body is you. And I watch people, and I have watched people put such strictness on themselves. Oh, and you can see they're stuffed up. And then all of a sudden, I'm going on a water fast, or I'm going on a dry fast for this many days, or I'm going on a juice fast and whatever. And then all of a sudden they come off that and you can see they're back on cooked food. Then you can see they're on raw, and then that go round and round and round, and not finding that actual balance in their life and finding peace with their plate. And for me, finding peace with my plate is more important than anything else. And it should be for you too. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. It was a little bit of a rant, but I needed to put it out there because I just had to. If anyone's got any more questions, feels like they're stuck and don't know which way to go, please feel free to message me. You can always message me on my Facebook page, which is Jade Rochelle Tornquist, or you can leave a comment below and I'm happy to link you into wherever you can to chat to me. I'm about leading people into being the healthiest versions of themselves and making sure they make the ethical choices for veganism, because veganism is ultimate. No matter how we eat, no matter what we put in our mouth, it's all about those animals. Okay, thank you so much for watching my video. Please leave a comment below, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and most importantly, love life, live free, and be vegan. Bye for now.